Press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update from Adda247. बेल आइकन दबाइए, Adda247 की सारी नोटिफिकेशंस पाइए. Adda247, गवर्नमेंट जॉब इन योर पॉकेट.
Hi friends, this is Anchal and I welcome you all on Adda247 on another session of root words. So I hope you must have learned the previous videos and you must have at least made 5 words out of each root word that I have already told you. And with this hope, I always start the class with this hope, and still I start this class with this hope, and the first word for today is migr or mob. When I say migr or mob, this talks about movement of somewhere or something, right? Similarly, we can make a lot of words out of it, like we have migrate, we have migration, we have immigrant, we have emigrant, we have mobile, we have immobilize. Now see, let's talk about these. So if you can see, we have either migr written or we have mob written in each word. So the first word is migrate. As we all know, whenever a word ends with ate, it is used as a verb in the English grammar, right? So migrate means what? Moving from one place to the other, and migrant is a person who moves from one place to the other. So in short, you can call migrant as a nomad. Nomad in Hindi you call Banjaras, right? So this is a person, migrant is a person who keeps on moving from one place to the other. That is migrant, that is nomad. Migrate is a verb that migrant do. Then we have migration. Migration, what does this mean? The process of moving. The process of moving from one place to the other. Then we have immigrant or emigrant. Now this is something that creates a lot of confusion, and we need to clear that as well. Now see, a part of these two words are same, like both of them are person. Person who moves out of a country. Similar goes with emigrant, person who moves out of a country, right? One who moves out of country, one who moves out of a country. Till now, both the words mean the same, but then one slight thing will change the meaning. Why? When I say if somebody is going out of the country to settle, that means that person will not return at all. That is what we mean by immigrant. I-M-M-I-G-R-A-N-T. But when we say emigrant, E-M-M-I-G-R-A-N-T, this person goes out of the country for a purpose only. And as soon as this purpose completes, that person will be back to the country. He won't go to settle there. Maybe he's going for studies, for further studies. Maybe he's going for a meeting. Maybe he's going for a project. So something like that, if it is there, that's emigrant. Otherwise, it's immigrant if you are going abroad for settling down. Next is mobile. Mobile means something which is able to move freely. Something which is able to move freely. Then we have immobilize. Now as I say, whenever we write in or il, right? If we write legal and if we add ill to it, illegal, that becomes not of it, right? If I say mobile or mobilize, it means one thing which can be moved. But when I say immobilize, this means what? It means it cannot be moved now. When I say appropriate, it means suitable. When I say inappropriate, it means it is not appropriate. So ill, im or in, this defines being in not condition. So immobilize, what does this mean? To stop from moving. To stop from moving. Then I hope you are clear with the meaning of migr and mob now, and obviously the difference between immigrant and emigrant, because this is a question actually asked in the SSC examination, if you know that. If you know that, and if you have given the SSC examination. Other than that, this is a word that is quite common in the newspaper as well. So emigrant and immigrant, these are two words one should know the meanings of, right? Moving further, we have the second word, and that is miss. Whenever we have miss, this talks about being bad, behaving bad, wrong, or to hate somebody, right? For example, you can make words like misbehave, you can say misprint, you can write misnomer, you can write misalliance, you can write miscarriage, you can write mischief. Now, you have so many words, and each and every word has miss associated to it. To understand the meaning of miss, what does it actually mean, what you need to do is know the meaning of these words as well. Only then you will be able to identify the meaning of. For example, we have this word as well, misogamist. This is misogamist. So what does this mean? It again has miss in it, right? See, when I say misbehave, so it means what? Behavior. This defines what? Your nature, the way you talk to somebody, the way you behave with somebody. That is what we mean by behave. So misbehave means to behave badly with somebody. Then we say misprint. Misprint, what does this define? An error while printing or an error in printing. Then we say misnomer. Nomer is again a root word that defines what? Nomer is again a root word that defines the name. It is used to define the name. When I say misnomer, what does it mean? That somebody must have misspelled the name, mispronounced the name, somebody must have pronounced the name. So misnomer is actually related to name. And when I say misnomer, this means what? An error in naming a person or a thing. For example, there are times when you went to school and you have a very difficult name. If you have a very difficult name, people might find it difficult to read what actually is written, right? So they might pronounce your name in a wrong way. So that is what we mean by misnomer. Sometimes the spelling of our name is not written correctly, and that is misnomer. Next is misalliance. Alliance means working together, union of something, right? And when I say misalliance, what does this mean? It means that something went bad in that union. So misalliance means an improper union. An improper union. Then I say miscarriage. Carriage is a word that defines carrying something from one place to the other. And miscarriage means that you did not carry that thing or that person quite well. So that is what we mean by mishandling. Mishandling, miscarriage is what we mean by wrong handling. Then we have the word mischief. Now mischief is an act that you performed, and through that act you can do a damage or cause injury to somebody or to yourself as well. So that is what we mean by mischief, an act resulting in damage or injury. Next is misogamist. Now mis means hate. Gam is marriage. Gam is marriage, or gamy is marriage. Polygamy, monogamy, bigamy, yeah, misogamist. This is all related to marriage. So when I say misogamist, IST is a person. Everybody knows. Gamy is marriage. IST is a person. So what happens in here is misogamist, IST is a person, gam is related to marriage, mis is related to hate. So misogamist, what is it? It is a person who hates marriages, or marriage is what we mean by misogamist. So I hope till here migr, miss and mob is absolutely clear to you, with some more root words that are ate, I, L, I, M, I, N, nomer, carriage, cam and ist. With this, let's move on to the third one, and that is mut. Mute means change. Now this is not mute, rather it's mut, which causes to be something changing, right? Then we have the words associated to it, and we have mutant, we have mutate, we have immutable, we have transmute, we have commute. Now, if we talk about this one particular word, that is mutant. Mutant is actually a person, it's an organism that keeps on changing. If you have seen a movie that's called Krish, in that Kangana Ranaut played a role, and in that role, she keeps on changing to one or the other person she sees, right? And therefore, that is what we mean by mutant, an organism that does what? That keeps changing, or that can change itself, is what we mean by mutant. Next is mutate. Again, you have the word ate, which defines a verb. So again, mutate is a verb. Mutate, what does this mean actually? Mutate means to undergo a change. To undergo a change. Then we have immutable. Again, im word is used. I told you im is used to define not, never. So immutable. Mutable means what? Something which can be changed. Mutable means something which can be changed, because able defines the capability of something. Able defines the capability of something. So when I say mutable, when I say immutable, this defines what? It can change. But when I say immutable, this says what? Cannot be changed. Then we have transmute. Trans is the word that defines what? That defines the movement of something, the carry, the bearance of something. That is what we mean by transmute. So transmute is a word that defines change in the form. Form, what does this mean? The way or the shape that it has, that changes. That is what we mean by transmute. Then we have the word commute. Commute means change or reduce. And the reduction that will be held, it will be in the jail statement. For example, if somebody was given a sentence of 15 years of jail, but then he behaved really well, he tried to improve himself, so in that condition, the court reduced his sentence. So that is what we mean by commute. That means the reduction of sentence, the reduction of prison that you got is what we mean by commute. With this, let's move on to the fourth word, and the fourth word for this session is NAT. I hope you must have learned this word, or you must have heard about this word, right? Nat is actually a word that is related to born or birth. It is related to born or birth. For example, we have the word natal, we have innate, we have natural, we have native, we have nativism. Now, understand natal. What natal means? It says anything and everything that is related to your birth or somebody else's birth. It can be the clothing, it can be the instruments, it can be anything, it can be the operation theatre. So, anything which is related to natal, anything which is related to birth is called natal. So, relating or belonging to the birth. Then we have innate. Innate is something that is included in you since birth. For example, the people or the parents try to what? Try to innate values and virtues inside you. So that is what you are getting, included since birth. The values and the virtues are included, the good work that you do, the good deeds that you perform, the good mind that you get, that is all what we mean by innate. Next is natural. Natural means what? Gotten at birth. For example, if somebody asks you, what is that mark on your face? What is that mark on your hand? What is that mark on your leg? So that's natural. That means you got that mark at birth. And something that you've got at birth, this is what we mean by natural. Next is native. Native means belonging to the birthplace. Belonging to the birthplace. if I ask you, where are you from? This is a certain question that you will answer. What native do you belong to? Right? Which native do you belong to? That means where were you born? Where were you born? So that will be the place where you belong to, and that is the place you are native to. Then we have nativism. Nativism, again ISM, whenever a word ends with ISM, it only and only defines what? It defines the process of something. So nativism is actually a policy favoring the native people. For example, if you went out somewhere for a picnic or for a vacation or trip, if you go out somewhere and suppose a dispute arises there, so there and there the court will sanction something, or the police will be sanctioning something, right? The police will be favoring the native or the tourist. They will be favoring the native people, and that is what we mean by nativism, favoring a policy that favors the native people, the people that are born at that place, in that city, in that area. So whenever you have the word nat, it will all and all define the birthplace or born. Now, the fifth word is NAV, nav. And nav defines ship or aircraft. Ship or aircraft. We can make a lot of words out of it, like we can make navigate, we can make circum, navigate, we can make navigator, we can say naval, then we have navicular. So let's start with the last one, navicular. You have a bone in your ankle, and that is boat shaped, right? So navicular is actually what we mean by boat shaped. You must have seen girls, or the girls must be knowing the boat shaped neck that we have in today's modern world. So that is what we mean by navicular. It says boat shaped. Then we have naval. Naval, what does this mean? Relating to navy. Anything that is relating to navy or warships. Or warships is what we mean by naval. Then we have the word navigator. Navigator is actually a person who navigates ships and aircrafts. Actually, it should be ship and aircraft. So when we have aircraft and ship launched or released from one place, and wherever they are, the person who navigates it, the person who finds it, that is a person, as we call it, navigator. Then is circumnavigate. As I told you, circum is the word that defines around and surrounding of somewhere, right? Circum is a word that defines around and surrounding of somewhere. So circumnavigate, what does this mean? It means to sail around a place. To sail around a place. For example, suppose this is a place and this ship keeps sailing around here. So this is what we mean by circumnavigate, moving, surrounding somewhere. Then we say navigate. What does it actually mean? Navigate means to sail a ship through a place. When you switch on your Google Maps, you type your own location, your location, and then you type the other location where you want to go. What do? You just go through that place, right? And what do? You actually navigate. You go through a place to reach another place. So that is what we mean by navigate. So I hope you must have understood the words navigate and circum and ism, trans, able, aid, IL, IM, NOMA, carriage, GAM and IST as well. With this, we come to the last word of this session, and that is necro or necro. Now, when I say necro or necro, this is related to death or dead, right? Death or dead. Now, moving further, we have a lot of words out of it, like we have necrophil, we have necrosis, we have necrology, we have necropsy, then we have necropolis. Now, each word has necro or necro in it, right? Moving with the first word, necro defines death, and whenever we have fill written somewhere, fill defines what? It defines love. Phil defines love. For example, if we have a bibliophile. So bibliophile means a lover of book, right? So Phil is actually a love towards book. So Phil, necrophile, what does this mean? It means somebody who's loving death. I don't know if somebody is still alive who loves his death, but then loving death is what we mean by necrophile. Then we have necrosis. Necrosis is actually a disease. It's actually a difficulty that you get. So necrosis, what does this mean? Death of tissues due to injury or disease. When you go to the gym, you just pull out a lot of weight, right? You put up a lot of weight, and that is where you break your tissues. And you need to take some supplements to get that done, to get that clear, to get that to the proper way it was. And if you don't do that, what happens? The disease happens, and that is what we name. And if you don't do that, what happens? You get a disease that is named as necrosis, that is the death of tissues due to injury or disease. Obviously, when you're pulling up a lot of weight, you are injuring your muscles, and then the tissues break and the death causes. Next is necrology. As I have already told you, as I have always rather told you, that logy is a word that not only defines science and study, but it also defines the list of something. So today you'll get it. Necrology is actually a list of recently died people. Recently died people. For example, if an accident happens, and if a train accident happens, and what happens with that? If there is a train accident and the train collapsed with the other train, there might be some casualties there. And with that casualties, the list of the names of those casualties is what we mean by necrology, the list of recently died people. Then we say necropsy. Whenever we write this word opsy somewhere, opsy means examination. Like we have biopsy. There we examine if the organ has a cancer-causing content or not. So opsy is actually an examination, but necropsy means what? It means an examination of dead body to find the cause of death. Then we have necropolis, and necropolis means a tract of land used for burial. Right? So a tract of land, a land that is required for the burial of dead bodies, that is what we mean by necropolis. Now I hope the meanings of migr, mob, miss, mute, nat, nav and necr is absolutely clear to you, and I've told you a lot of words out of it as well. Now there's a humble request and there's a suggestion as well. Try making out 5 words from circum, ism, trans, able, logy, 8, il, im, in, fill, noma, carriage, gamming and ist. This is what I want you to do till the next session of root words. Till then, thank you so much. Take care of yourself and keep watching Adda247. Bye-bye.
Press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update from Adda247. बेल आइकन दबाइए, Adda247 की सारी नोटिफिकेशंस पाइए. Adda247 गवर्नमेंट जॉब इन योर पॉकेट.